Okay, recording is on. I happened to catch this book in the library, and I noticed that it was a Dr. Seuss book I'd never seen before. It said Lost Stories. Lost Stories. And it turned out to be stories that were printed in a magazine in the early 1950s called Redbook Magazine. And I read one of the stories. It's so good, I will read it now. And since these stories were in a magazine, the magazine obviously was read and then discarded and forgotten about, unlike books that a lot of times are reprinted. So this was such a cute little story. I'm sure that there's lots of children who have never heard or read about the lost stories, and the title of the book is called Quaker Bug. But I will read a story in it called Marco Comes Late. Quickly, here's what the front cover looks like. Horton and the Quaker Bug. There it is. Horton and the Quaker Bug. Right there. Now, I will show you Marco Comes Late. A picture. There we are. There we go. Marco comes late. And I hope I get a thumbnail out of that. I'll see when I look at YouTube. So this is kind of hard to do. The characters are constantly changing. So I'll do my best. Give me a moment and I'll get it ready. Marco Comes Late. It's a story about a boy who comes late, and he's in grammar school, and the teacher asks him why was he late, and who hadn't come late to school, right? And maybe sometime had to give an excuse or maybe bring an excuse. So it's a very cute story, or I wouldn't be reading it to YouTube watchers and listeners. So bear with me a minute and I'll get this little story. This is a small story from a magazine that's now in a book. And the story, a Dr. Seuss story, written in 1950, Marco Comes Late. That's the story of my life. I was in one play in grammar school, and I hate to do this, take too long, but this is very short. And I have a habit of being late a lot of times. I was in one play in high school, Alice in Wonderland, grammar school. I played the rabbit. My only line was holding up a pocket watch, and I would say, I'm late for a very important date. No time to I'm late. And that's it. This is a story about being late for school. So here I go. One moment, please. Here we go. One moment. As I adjust the picture here, right here, and hope it's focused. So here we go. Here we go.
Young man,
said Miss Block.
it's 11 o'clock. This school begins promptly at 8:45. Why, this is terrible time to arrive. What's wrong with you, boy? Is your head made of wood? Why didn't you come just as fast as you could? What is your excuse? It had better be good.
Marco looked at the clock. Then he looked at Miss Block. Excuse? Marco stuttered. Well, you see, well, it's like this. Something happened to me. Yeah, yes, that's right. Something happened to me. This morning, Miss Block. Yes, this morning. When I left home for school, I hurried off early according to the rule. I said when I started 8:15, I must not, I will not, I shall not be late. I'll be the first pupil to be in my seat. Then bang, something happened on Mulberry Street. I heard a strange peep, and I took a quick look. And you know what I saw with the look that I took? A bird. That's right, a bird. That's right, a bird laid an egg on my arithmetic book. I couldn't believe it, Miss Block, but it's true. I stopped and didn't quite know what to do. I didn't dare run, and I didn't dare walk. I didn't dare yell. And I didn't dare talk. I didn't dare sneeze. Achoo! And I didn't dare cough. Because if I did, I would knock the egg off. So I stood there, stuck still, and it worried me pink. Then my feet got quite tired, and I sat down to think. And while I was thinking, down there on the ground, I saw something move, and I heard a loud sound of a worm who was having a fight with his wife. The most terrible fight that I've heard in my life. The worm, he was yelling. That boy should not wait. He must not, he dare not, he shall not be late. That boy ought to smash that head off his, or rather, he should smash that egg off his head. Then the wife of the worm shouted, and she said, to break that dear egg would be possibly cruel. An egg's more important than going to school. That egg is that mother's bird. That mother's bird's pride and her joy. If he smashes that egg, he's the world's meanest boy. And while the worms argued about what I should do, a couple of big cats, they started arguing too. You'll listen to me. I heard one of them say, if this boy doesn't go to school right away, Miss Block will be frightfully, horribly mad. If the boy gets there late, she will punish the lad. Then the other cat snapped, I don't care if she does. This boy must not move. So I stayed there where I was with the egg on my head. With the egg on my head and my heart full of fears and the shouting of cats and of worms in my ears. Then, while I lay wondering with all this would stop, the egg on my book burst apart and with a pop, and out of the pieces of red and white shell jumped a strange brand new bird, and he said with a yell, he said, I thank you, young fellow. You've been simply great. But now that I'm hatched, no longer need wait. I'm sorry I kept you till 11 o'clock. It's really my fault. You tell that to Miss Block. I wish you good luck, and I bid you good day. That's what the bird said. Then he fluttered away. And then I got here just as fast as I could, and that's my excuse. I think it's quite good. Miss Block didn't speak for a moment or two. Her eyes looked at Marco and looked him clean through. Then she smiled.
That's very good, too, if it's true. Did all of those things really happen to you?
Well, answered Marco with sort of a squirm. Not quite all, I guess. But I did see a worm.
A worm, you say? But what about the rest of the story that you told me today?
Well, maybe it's not all quite true. But some of it, is true. I saw a worm.
A worm, you say? I tell you what you're gonna do. I've got some detention waiting for you.
The end. I added a tiny bit to the story. That's it. The end. Finally. Hard one. I made mistakes. I tried my best. But oh well, you know the rest. One more time, I'll show you the beginning. Marco comes late. There's the teacher. And here is Marco. That's it. Marco comes late. He's late for a very important date. No time to run, no time to stay. He's late, he's late, he's late. And that is the end. Signing off.